So all eyes on this, would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the trial of the century in New York City, at least. I mean, this is the biggest trial that has happened here since, I don't know, I can't even remember the Harvey Weinstein trial a couple of years ago in 2019. But this is bigger because there's no one bigger than Donald Trump in America.
And this could be, of the various trials that are ongoing, all pointed at Donald Trump and his activities, this could be the one, the only one, that begins and ends prior to the election. Is that right?
Yeah, at present, it's scheduled to begin, it's scheduled to end, and he has tried in multiple venues to try to get this trial stopped. He has failed. The appellate courts in New York have rejected his claims to move this trial, or his wish to move this trial, not only to delay the trial, but to move it outside of New York City, outside of Manhattan. And I will say this for him, he had a good argument, a strong argument to do so. New York City is heavily anti-Trump. Manhattan is even more anti-Trump. My office is here on Wall Street. The courthouse is about a 10-minute walk from my office. It's going to be very difficult to find fair and impartial jurors. It is in any criminal case, but particularly here for him in Manhattan.
He says he will testify. He's prepared to do so. Do you think he will? Will his legal team put him in the stand? I mean, it could be very high risk, couldn't it?
So in most cases, defendants don't testify. It is not up to his legal team. The right of a defendant to testify is exercised by the defendant himself. The defendant is the only one that can decide whether he or she wants to testify. I believe he's saying that for the media. I don't believe he's going to testify because it could open himself up to additional prosecutions for perjury, obstruction, potentially even a federal indictment just based on if he says something in here that's patently untrue, he could be prosecuted in another court. So I don't believe he's going to testify.
And just very briefly, Vinoo, what's the outcome going to be? What do you think will happen?
I think the reality is that he will be found guilty. I think that's a foregone conclusion. Unfortunately for him, he drew a bad judge, Judge Marchand, for him, who has a history of being very pro-prosecution. He was a former prosecutor. And I think the problem for the Trump team is that I believe this judge will actually put him in jail. And I think Trump will be able to get out with an appeal to the appellate court, but he may actually see Rikers Island, one of the most notorious jails in this world.
Okay, well, as you say, all eyes will be on this later today in New York. Vinoo Varghese, thank you for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.